professional photographer goes on her honeymoon and decides she's going to shoot the whole thing on a film camera. This photographer right here, and I'm going to tell you why and share some photos. So this past November, I got married and it was awesome. It was like one of my favorite days ever in my whole life. I loved it. And my husband and I decided that we should go on our honeymoon in Sayulita, Mexico. It's a gorgeous little town north of Puerto Vallarta. It is on the ocean and is surrounded by mountains and like insane lush jungle. And we thought it would be a really fun but somewhat easily accessible location for us to take our honeymoon. So we did, but in doing so, we were only carrying on our luggage and we were trying to decide what to take and what we shouldn't take. We also didn't know how safe it was, and so it was like, should I bring my professional camera? Because if it gets stolen, that's really gonna suck, and I don't know how that works with like insurance internationally or what that looks like. And so I decided that I would bring my film camera, and between that and the iPhone, those would be the main ways we captured our honeymoon. So I'm going to talk about why I decided to shoot all of my honeymoon photos on this Canon camera. It's the Canon Elan 7. It shoots 35mm film, and it functions pretty similarly to like a Canon 5D Mark II or Mark III. Which is kind of amazing. That's not something I knew existed in film cameras, but it's awesome. It was a gift to me from a friend who was done using it, and it's a gem. It is a gem of a camera, and I'm so glad I brought it with me. The lens I used on it is my 50mm f1.4 lens, and it's small and discreet, so I thought it worked well for traveling. So I'm going to talk about what I liked about using that camera and some things that I wasn't super happy about. The first thing I want to get into is what I liked, which is they're just beautiful. I came back from vacation and I didn't have to edit my photos once the film got developed. No, I didn't instantly have my photos, but I did have photos that were ready to go once they got back from the lab. And to me, that was a gift to myself because I didn't have to work for my personal photos. That was awesome. And also they just automatically, like with film, they just look so pretty. It captures light in such a unique way that digital just doesn't. And it was just frankly delicious. I loved so many things about the photos, like the light and the shadows, and the way everything was just picked up on camera was super special. I also really liked that having a film camera allowed me to be a lot more present while I was on my honeymoon. So my husband and I weren't trying to think about all of these like photos that we could get, and we didn't have to take a bunch of photos when we were somewhere because we couldn't. Like I only had so many shots available on one roll of film. I did do some experimental stuff, but like literally I was doing a panorama and then I got to the end of my roll on my last photo of the panorama. So that's how you know you're done in that moment, at least. So it was totally fine. It's not like I wasn't able to take more pictures. I always carried more film on me. But because you have a limited amount of pictures that you can take on film and a limited amount of rolls, and I didn't know if I could buy more rolls or not, it meant that I wasn't able to just go crazy and shoot thousands of photos. And it meant that I was able to just be more present on this very, very special vacation with my very new husband. So no regrets there. I'm like super glad that I brought my film camera for the sake of presence and just being more in the moment. One drawback I would say is that I didn't know when photos were out of focus. I might have tried really hard to get photos that were in focus, or if like Edward, my husband, or someone else took a picture of us, well, no one else took a picture of us with my camera, then I didn't know, I wasn't able to control that. And so there are photos that I took of Edward and photos that he took of me that just weren't in focus. Some were, and that was awesome. It made me super psyched when they did come out. So that was like kind of like a weird plus, but not a super great plus. But then there's others that just weren't in focus, but it I guess lends itself to the art and it feels kind of artsy. even though my photographer self would really like those photos to be in focus, and it's totally fine. And along with that, there were photos that just didn't come out, period. And so you like don't have the control like you do with digital, and that's really nice. Like it's nice on digital to be able to look at the back of your camera and see what your picture is gonna look like. But I think that all in all, the pros outweigh the cons here, and that's about it. Like the pros were great pros. The benefits I got from having this film camera were pretty awesome. And while the con kind of sucked, I didn't lose anything that was like super valuable or super important. And one of my most favorite photos from the whole trip, the panorama that I was talking to you about, it came out like so insanely good it didn't even make sense to me because I didn't have a tripod. I just merged it together in Photoshop, and Photoshop did all the work for me. And I'm like, how did this turn out so good? Like it's film, and there was like movement happening, and what? And it's like awesome. I'm so happy with how it turned out. So it's not perfect and it's not predictable, but that's film. And so you kind of can choose what journey you want to take with your own personal photos. I have on multiple occasions shot a lot of personal things on film, but I don't know that I've ever completely relied on film itself instead of digital. But oftentimes I would come back and realize I liked the film a lot more than the digital. And so I think that's what inspired me on this trip to take a little risk. And I'm glad that I did. Like if I could do it again, I probably would still go back with a film camera. But I might just bring an extra roll of film and take a couple like multiple pictures just in case one doesn't turn out. Because that's like, I think that's normal and what a lot of people who shoot film do, but it's not like what I normally do. Normally I shoot digital. So anyway, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, definitely give it a thumbs up. Comment with your thoughts. I'm curious what you guys think about my decision and if you guys have done the same. And definitely subscribe if you like my channel. So I hope you guys have an awesome day and I wish you all the best. Bye.